everyone? Marc Lobliner, TigerFitness.com. From Justin. Marc, when did you decide to start your first business? Was it hard to take that leap? Well, it was after I left Leader to go start a business with Sylvester Stallone called Instone. I was a founding shareholder. And basically, after that position didn't work out, I was actually going to leave the industry, but my future business partner convinced me not to, and we started Scivation. Was it hard to take that leap? Absolutely. My wife wanted me to take a job working for someone else in the publishing arena, which is where I am actually. At the time, I was much more qualified after working with American media, including The Inquirer, The Star, Mira en Español, Country Weekly, along with Flex, Muscle and Fitness, Men's Fitness, Muscle and Fitness, Her Shape, all those Fit Pregnancy, all those magazines that my strength was publishing, advertising, marketing, you name it. But it was hard. But the reason I did it is because my wife had, at the time, a very solid career before we had kids, where she was making enough money to support both of us. So we decided, she backed my decision to take a risk. My friend and I are working towards getting our own business off the ground while maintaining full-time employment and family. If I were single, I think it'd be a no-brainer to take the risk. But I have a wife, a son, and a son on the way. I can't imagine making the decision that will put him in harm's way, so to speak. At the same time, I know that what we're working on will be a success. It's tough. Most new businesses, a majority of them fail. Every business wants to make it. Now, since you're starting it on the side, and you have a full-time employment, paying your daily bills, that might work. But to make a company work, one thing I realized, when we started the company, I worked, 10, 15-hour days, and, I was getting it done. And we were growing, but very poor. I mean, we weren't growing to the level we did later on. It wasn't until I gave up my life, got on the road, and went door to door selling stuff and writing articles and working 20-hour days that we actually grew. What I learned, to build a company takes much more than an 8 to 5, takes much more than an 8 to 8. It is an all day, all night job. And I don't know if what you're doing now, being that you have a full-time job, will be enough to build that company. Unless you have a very compelling, unique idea. Unless you have something so compelling, so unique, that you have very little competition and you're able to set the standard for that niche. You're being able to become the category innovator, the category leader, much like we were with our branch chain product. But again, then you have to educate people on what it is. You guys might not remember this because you might be too young, but 6-7 years ago, I was at the Arnold Classic with Lane and Derek, and we were trying to sell a 30-serving Extend for $5. $5. Stuff's going for well over $20 now. We were trying to give it away so people would try it. Guess what? We didn't sell out of them. We had to give them away at the end so we wouldn't have to pay freight back. And we had people negotiating us down. No one knew what branch chains did during training. We had to do the studies. We had to educate people. I had to go store to store. We had to write articles. We had to do seminars. We had to, we teamed up with bodybuilding.com and did a video series. And that cost thousands and thousands of dollars in travel expense alone. Hotel, food, things like that. People don't realize what it takes to build a brand. What pisses me off as a buyer in this industry? Everybody thinks they can slap a fucking label on a product and sell it. Doesn't work like that. See how long you stay in business with that. You got to have a plan. You got to have a point of differentiation. You got to have a mission. If you do have all those, and you do have a business plan, and you know it has a chance of surviving, I can't say you can be sure because you can never be sure that something's going to work. It's never a sure thing. Just ask Bill Phillips when he came out with his second line, Right. Remember Right? That went right down the drain. He had the backing of Europa Sports. He had the backing of GNC. It still failed miserably because the consumers didn't want it. If you can get it out there, by all means. But I will tell you this. Owning something, and it depends how the election goes, government doesn't really help small business. We have the highest corporate tax rate in the world. And with healthcare, I don't know what's going to happen long term. You might be better off working for someone else. Look at how much you could potentially make on your own and how much you could potentially make with your current employer, and then make your decision. Talk to your wife about it, pray on it, do what you need to do. I'll tell you what, guys, I'm not a praying kind of guy, but when I was thinking of doing my own thing, or even after I sold my former company, what I'm going to do, I did sit there and I did, in my head, I talked, what should I do? If that's called praying, to a higher power, if that's called just deep thought, I don't know what it is. But whatever your form of meditation, deep thought, prayer is, do it. And if you feel in your heart that you are making the right decision by your family, go in, feet first, brother. But that's it, man. Business is a tough thing. And sometimes you're better off working for others. There is no gold at the end of the rainbow all the time. You gotta work, and nothing comes easy. There is no idea that will outpower work. Look, Scivation was not the first one with branched chains. You had Glutacine, you had Ice, you had a bunch of others. We were the first ones to educate people on why they work. First to market, to get it out there, first to mind. That's why they're still the category leader. And as they should be. Marc Lobliner, TigerFitness.com. Peace out.